Hello. In this session, we will see one of the important lessons from the Springs, that is author. The author is written by the Nigerian novelist and the writer and critic Chinua Achebe. In this lesson, he is going to tell how the two political parties influence the individual, and also is going to discuss the theme of corruption and also loyalty and the greed and also the guilt. And when we go to the story, the author, it starts introducing one of the important characters, that is Roof. Roof in short it is, and the full name is Rufus Okeke. Rufus Okeke is a popular man in the village. Why is he so popular? The villagers had so much of gratitude towards this person because he did not leave the village like other people and went to the city or town in order to find a good work. And here the author asks us not to think that he is a village lout. He knows, he studied, he is an educated. Everybody knows Roof, how he worked for 2 years. 2 years he worked as a bicycle repairer's apprentice, and in the place that is Port Harcourt. And out of his own will, he left the bright future in the town, came back to the village in order to guide the people. So why he has to guide the people in his village? The name of the village here, it is given as Umuofia. Umuofia is the name of the village mentioned in the first paragraph. And here in the first paragraph, in fact, many details the author had given here. And Umuofia is the name of the village. And that is the difficult times he mentions here is the election time. During the election time, Roof left his work in the town and came back to the village in the name that he wanted to guide the people. But the entire village belongs to the political party. The political party is PAP. PAP, that is a People's Alliance Party. And this People's Alliance Party had so much of influence. It influenced the people of Umuofia, and its most illustrious son, that is Marcus Ibe. Marcus Ibe is the chief in the outgoing government, PAP, People's Alliance Party. Now it is election time, and they say that it is the outgoing government, and Marcus Ibe is the Minister of Culture in the outgoing government. And immediately here the author mentions that it is the incoming party as well, because the opposition party is like a proverbial fly trying to move a dunghill. And also it is complete non-entity, newly formed party. There is no chance of winning for the opposition party. That is why the people are also have that confidence here that once again Marcus Ibe is going to rule from that political party, People's Alliance Party. And here the main character, that is Roof. Roof left the work, the bright future, and came back to the village in order to guide the people. Here we can understand that in order to make benefit of the situation, that is, he left the work in the name of guiding the people. He is in the service of Marcus Ibe. So being in the service of Marcus Ibe, Roof is called as, he can analyze the mood and temper of the electorate at any given time. He is a real expert. He became a real expert in analyzing the mood and temper of the electorate at any given time, right from the local to the national level. And he had warned the minister, that is Marcus Ibe, that the people mind had changed. He warned already months ago. Why here the people mind changed? They are not ready to vote for PAP, because in these 5 years, after Marcus Ibe becoming the Minister of Culture, and the 5 years they had seen 3 things for Marcus Ibe. So Marcus Ibe had got plenty of wealth. They had seen the elections brought 3 things for Marcus Ibe. Elections brought plenty of wealth and also chieftaincy titles and also doctorate degrees. And the last one, that is doctorate degree. The people, village people, they could not understand how Marcus Ibe is called as a doctor, because for in their innocence they thought that doctor is a person who could heal the sick. But they realized, they understood that this everything is readily available for a person. That is chieftaincy titles, doctorate degrees, plenty of wealth, everything is available for a person because of their ballot paper, because of their oath which they had given for free of cost in the last elections, which they are not ready to do right now. Right now they are not ready to do that. That means they are expecting some benefit from Marcus Ibe. What is the reason for the people to think that Marcus Ibe, why he is called as a doctor and politics only brought him wealth? What was he before joining the elections? Before joining the elections, Marcus Ibe was a mission school teacher, and that too not a successful mission school teacher. And this mission school teacher, there was a complaint from a female teacher and he was about to be dismissed from the school. Exactly that time politics came to the village. He wisely joined the politics and became the minister. After becoming the minister, he had taken 2 long cars and also he had constructed the biggest house in Umuofia that he named as Umuofia Mansions. Umuofia Mansions is the name of the house which he had constructed in his village, the village which had neither running water nor pipe-borne water nor electricity. These 2 things the village did not have. In such kind of a village, he had constructed the biggest building and named it as Umuofia Mansions, and also he installed a private plant to supply electricity for his new building. And whenever it is possible, he was living the good life in the city, coming back to the village, staying there, trying to give an impression for the people that he is living the good life in the city and he is staying in the village with the people. And for this opening ceremony of the newly constructed house, that is Umuofia Mansions, he had invited the archbishop and also invited the village people. He wanted to entertain the people. That is why he killed 5 bulls. He slaughtered 5 bulls and also countless goats and entertained the people with a great feast. And all the people, everybody started praising Marcus on his face that our son is a good man, he is not like the others. So, but once the feasting was over, when they were going back, they thought that they had underestimated the power of the ballot paper. They had underrated the power of the ballot paper, and next they are not ready to do that. And Marcus Ibe was not unprepared. That means he knows what is going on in the mind of the people. Just the price on his face, but what actual intention is there in their mind, he knows that. So that's why he was there in his own preparations. What has he done? So as a part of preparations, he had drawn 5 months salary in advance. 5 months salary in advance he has drawn and changed the pounds into shining shillings. The change, shining shillings, and these shillings he filled it in the jute bags and he handed over those jute bags to his campaigners. And they have to conduct the campaigning, and during daytime Marcus Ibe was making the public speeches, and during the night time he was there. These people were conducting the whispering campaigning. Whispering campaigning means secret distribution of money in order to get the votes. So that was conducted by his campaigners. Here it is said that Roof is the most trusted campaigner. Roof is the most trusted campaigner. How far this is true? We need to analyze after reading the story. So till now we had seen that Roof's sincerity towards his master, that is Marcus Ibe, in warning him well before, months before itself, and also being with him and doing that whispering campaigning. He is termed as that most trusted campaigner. Then next we could see that Roof's campaigning. How has he started his campaigning? So Roof started his campaigning, that conducted his campaigning, whispering campaigning, in the house of one of the elders of that locality. His name is Ogbuefi Ezenwa. Ogbuefi Ezenwa is a man who has high traditional title. So in Eisenhower's house, they all gathered, assembled. Along with Ogbuefi Eisenhower, there were 5 elders in the room. Along with Roof, there was his assistant also. So Roof started his speech to the people. Directly, he did not ask the vote for Marcus. Instead, he is trying to remind the people what all the benefits they had because PAP is ruling them, and how it is a proud and a great thing that they had a minister from their village. So he also questioned them that what greater honor a village could have than this, and also asking them, so why we are singled out for this kind of recognition or this honor. And he reminds the elders about the pipe-borne water which the PAP promised them. The pipe-borne water was promised by the leaders of PAP if once again they come to the rule. So reminding them all these things, Roof says that if you wish you can give your oath, otherwise remember what promise they have done, that is pipe-borne water, he says. And the elders, 5 elders, and the elderly person Ogbuefi Eisenhower speaks, and he says that that's a night time, and there was a lamp. They all were sitting on the low stools, and amidst them there was a lamp, and on the floor, just before them, on the floor, 2 shillings were kept. And now Eisenhower speaks. Eisenhower agrees. Whatever Roof said is right. Whatever you said is right. We are ready to give our oaths and also our wives' oaths. And here he is trying to tell with African proverbs, trying to explain that situation. Who would leave an Ozo feast? So Ozo feast is a grand, important and a grand celebration in the Igbo society. So he mentions that who would leave an Ozo feast and go to a poor man's ritual. We are ready to give the oaths for Marcus IB itself, but 2 shillings is very shameful. They mentioned that they are not ready to accept the money which was kept before them. 2 shillings is very shameful, they say. And they once again verify the amount. He once again verify the amount, and he says that Marcus, in the last elections, so what happened? If at all he was a poor man, definitely we would have not asked. But today, Marcus is doing the things in a very grand way. And so, yesterday we did not ask. Tomorrow we are not going to ask. And today is our day. And still more is trying to explain Roof about the situation. Today is our day. So once again, the African proverb here he used, climbing an Iroko tree and not collecting the sufficient firewood is a foolish thing. Climbing is an Iroko tree. So after taking difficulty of climbing that, not collecting the firewood is a foolish thing, he says. Here firewood, to look at the word firewood, though he speaks about the African proverb firewood, here is going to speak about the benefits. So Roof also has to understand what the elders are speaking about, the firewood, the benefits, because he reminds what all the benefits he has received being in the service of Marcus IB. Recently, he asked him to give one of his rich robes. Immediately, he got it. And also, he said he remembers that what an importance he had in his house. So, when he was opening the fridge door to take the 5th bottle of beer, the wife, Marcus' wife, the same lady who complained against him in the school, so she objects, but for that she was roundly and publicly rebuked by her husband. And third thing is he won a land case with the influence of the minister, that is Marcus IB. So thinking all these benefits what he has received being in his service, he understood the elders also. He stood up, and one more coin, 1 more shilling he keeps on the floor. He will not give it into their palms, but he keeps on the floor. And later the elders checked that amount, but they shook their head. They are not ready to receive it. 1 more shilling he keeps on the floor. Totally 4 shillings he offered in order to get the oath from the elders. So for 4 shillings, the elders agreed. They know that how far they can talk, so without losing the decorum. So everybody made the speeches, and that is how successfully Roof conducts his whispering campaigning. You may get an important question like, already we have discussed that the Roof is the most trusted campaigner, explain, and now explain about the whispering campaigning conducted by Roof. Or else we can see that Roof is an intelligent manipulator, explain. And now after this, the author is going to speak about the opposition party. So the opposition party here they speak about is POP, that is Progressive Organization Party. This is already said that newly formed party, POP, Progressive Organization Party. And this party, as we discussed, that newly formed party, and this party was formed by the tribes down the coast. Tribes down the coast formed this party. So why? In order to save themselves. So from what they wanted to save? In order to save themselves from complete annihilation. So social annihilation, cultural, religious and political annihilation. In order to protect themselves, they had formed the party, Progressive Organization Party, and that was formed by tribes down the coast. And they also know that they definitely do not have a chance going into the straight fight with a strong party, that is PAP, but still they had a strategy. So their strategy was that given the loudspeakers and cars to the people, and they have selected the people, and for them they are given, their only duty is to make a huge noise about the political party. And here the author says that nobody knows how much these people had spent the money in Umuofia for this election campaigning, but definitely the campaigners would become very rich. That means a considerable amount itself they had spent. And later the important part in the story that happens, that is the campaigner of POP, Progressive Organization Party's campaigner, election campaigner, visits Roof's house. So they both actually are called as friends itself, but this visit is not a friendly visit. It is purely the business. As soon as he enters in the night, just before the election day, when everything was moving according to the plan of Roof, then this surprise visit he had from the leader of the POP campaign team. And when he visited, he straight away keeps on the bench, that is 5 pounds. Till now we were talking about shillings, and now here is 5 pounds offered by POP campaign team leader. 5 pounds, and he kept the 5 pounds, and directly he asked, "We want your vote." Roof stood up. He gets up from the chair and goes to the door. So here, as readers, we feel that, oh, maybe he is going to reject that amount because he is the most trusted campaigner for Marcus. We feel like that. But he goes to the door, close carefully, check whether anybody is listening, and come back to his place. And this small exercise gives him enough time to understand the situation, what he has to do. So he himself mentioned many benefits he has received being in the service of Marcus IB, but still he was attracted to the money, that is 5 pounds. And as he was talking to POP campaign team leader, his gaze was fixed on those notes itself. The notes were read, and the cocoa farmer is busy at his work. That made the way he attracted to the value of the money. Satirically here the author says that Roof was mesmerized by the picture of cocoa farmer. Roof was mesmerized by the picture of cocoa farmer. In reality, he has not mesmerized by the picture of cocoa farmer. Instead, what happened is he was so much attracted to the money. And he, in a feeble voice, he says that, I work for Marcus. But the other person was straightforward, and he asked, "We have so much of work tonight. Tell whether you want or not." Then he says that, "So it's not good. I am in Marcus' service." Then he says, "Marcus is not going to stand beside you when you put in the oath." And then when he worried about the others also, the campaigner gave him a word that they are after oaths, not gossiping. So he thought, all right, he thought, and he thought that the way he conducted the whispering campaigning, that offering them money and taking a word from them, that they vote for Marcus, that is what he thought. But here a different thing happened. Their strategy was different. They brought an object from the car. The object was E from Mbanta. E from Mbanta. Mbanta is very popular in these things. Looking at E from Mbanta, Roof understood that, and their demand was, so the POP campaign team leaders' demand was, swear on E, that promise on E, that you are going to vote for Madhuka. So that means the contestant Madhuka from the Progressive Organization Party, that you are going to vote for Madhuka. If not, this EA will take notes. But Roof is a man of quick decision. He could take the decisions quickly. So quickly he thought in the mind, what if my one vote goes to Madhuka? It will not make much difference for the certain, the victory of Marcus. Immediately he thought, and he promised on E and takes that £5 and also give them a suggestion that you do not have any chance against Marcus. But the other person's reply was very clear that this time they can get few votes, but next time they come to know that they are giving pounds, not shillings. Yes, so Marcus was giving shillings, whereas Madhuka now is giving pounds. So that is their confidence. Once people come to know that they are giving pounds, not shillings, definitely people give their votes. That's what their confidence. How confident these two people are. Roof was also very confident while giving the money for them, because he knows that for money people do anything. And here also POP campaign team leaders confidence also the same thing. When people come to know that they are giving pounds, definitely they also vote for them. After that, so this is an important part in the story, that Roof got manipulated. Till then, we had seen that how Roof tried to manipulate the elders in the house of Zenva, and now how Roof got manipulated. He was taking actually so many benefits being in the service of Marcus, but finally he was lured by £5. Next, the election morning. On the election morning, everywhere the situation, on the tree trunks, on the telegraph poles and on the electric poles, everywhere the posters, vote for PAP, vote for POP, and the minister, that is Marcus IB, as usual, he has done the grand arrangements. As a part of arrangements, he hired a high life band from Umuru, and people, those who were coming for the vote, they were dancing for that music and they were coming towards the polling booth. When they were coming towards the polling booth, Marcus IB is sitting in his enormous long green car and observing everything with a smiley face. And people, one of the villagers, instead of going towards the polling booth, he takes way towards Marcus' car and he congratulates him in advance. Before giving the vote itself, in advance he congratulates. That was heard by the other people. They did not understand what it is. They heard it as congrats. So congratulates, when the person said, they heard it as congrats. So that is why here the author mentioned that villager who congratulated Marcus well in advance as an enlightened man. So that enlightened man, what he has done, that set a pattern. Then from then onwards, everybody before going to the polling booth goes to Marcus IB, the one who is sitting in the car, congratulating him by saying the words congrats and then going towards the polling booth. And Marcus, along with the other campaigners, were very busy in giving the last minute advice, and he was also advising a group of women not to look at the man's head. Man's head is the symbol of Madhuka's party. Madhuka's party, man's head, and motor car is the symbol of Marcus' party, that is PAP. Motor car is the symbol of PAP party. He asked the women to look at the box which has motor car, and also he wanted to tell little humorously not to look at other box, and that other box which has man's head is for the people whose heads are not correct. And he receives a smile of appreciation from Marcus, and Marcus here knows that his victory, the next The newspapers are going to publish his victory as a landslide victory. So look at the word landslide victory, a great victory or a remarkable victory. Yes, he knows, he has that confidence. The newspapers are going to publish it as a landslide victory, but still he is there watching personally all these arrangements and guiding the people, because his only intention is Madhuka should not get even a single vote. Madhuka should not get a single vote. That is his thought. That is why after the crowd got over, he asked his campaign boys to go one by one to vote. Then he asked first Roof. Roof till then masked his face with a smile, but inside there was a conflict in his mind. Just before that day, the night, what had happened only Roof knows, and he accepted the money and he promised on E, which he cannot break, that is going to vote for Madhuka. But he has a guilt. He has a guilt that made him, that questions him, that how could you betray Marcus even in secret? There is no answer for him. So how could you betray Marcus even in secret? The other side, you could see the notes. The notes are still red. The cocoa farmer is busy. So the other side, money, and also he wanted to go back and throw the money. But at once 5 pounds, it's not possible. And also he has promised on E. So he goes inside and he stands before those two boxes, and still the kind of conflict was going on. He was in a dilemma. So when he was in a dilemma, the outside the police, he questions what is he doing, why is he taking so much of time. Quickly a thought came into his mind. Already it is said that Roof is a popular man, Roof is a real expert, and Roof is a man of quick decision. So because Roof is a man of quick decision, immediately there he got a thought. So he folded the ballot paper and tore it and put both parts of the paper into two boxes. The first precaution he has taken is, first he put that paper, the ballot paper, part of the ballot paper into Madhuka's box, and verbally he proved his action that I voted Madhuka. And the next part he put there in Marcus' box, and he answered his guilt that he voted even Marcus. He did not betray Marcus. And so happily, how happily, without showing his worry or sadness or the conflict going on his face, without showing how cheerfully he goes inside the booth, with the same cheerfulness he comes out the booth. That ends the lesson. So here, as readers, we know that what Roof has given is an invalid oath. But how was he influenced? So bribe. He was bribed. Because of that, he did not think whether it is a valid or invalid. Only two things: he wanted to keep up his promise, and also he wanted to answer his guilt. So the guilt made him, the guilt questions him a lot, that he could not completely, give the oath for Madhuka. So this is what he says. That is why in this lesson, through different characters, the main characters, Roof and Marcus, there are other characters also, like WFE Ezenwa, the village people, Madhuka, and POP campaign team leader. All these, through the characters of all these, Chinua Achebe wanted to show the corruption, the guilt, and the loyalty of the people through his short story, The Voter. Hope this summary of the Voter is really going to be helpful for you. I will come with the next another important lessons in my next session. Thank you.